Hello everyone, welcome to the Rayofhope YouTube channel in our basically the labs of the AWS in architecting on AWS playlist. So we are basically going to do the lab 6 of architecting on AWS where we are going to configure an Amazon CloudFront distribution with an Amazon S3 origin. So now let's proceed. So we will begin with our task 1. So here is our task 1.1. So what we have to do is basically open our console and okay, so at the top of the console, search for and choose CloudFront. Okay, so here my console has been open. So I will search for the CloudFront, and yeah, here we have it. So now I will open the CloudFront and open the existing CloudFront distribution. So this is basically for the exploring part, and yes, we have only one distribution here. And choose the ID link for the only available distribution. Yes, we have only one distribution. If you do not find the list of, so basically I will ignore this because I have the list of distributions. And okay, sorry. So all our details of the distributions are displayed. So not, so now what I will do basically is explore the properties of the existing distribution. So what we have to do is examine the contents of the general tab. So yes, we have our name here, the distribution domain name, the ARN, and the last modified date. So these are basically details of our lab CloudFront distribution. So now what we can do is, okay, so what basically this state that it contains the details of the current configuration of the particular CloudFront distribution. Now here comes our step 7, copy edit from the details section in the general tab. Okay, from the details section in the general tab, we have to copy the ARN value. Okay, so we will copy it here. So I will open my notepad and let's just save this and I will copy it. So here is our ARN of the CloudFront. And what else do we have to copy? So we have to copy the distribution domain name value, which is this. So I will copy this and paste it in my notepad. Okay, so this is our distribution domain name. So I will keep it here for the reference. Okay, done. So the distribution domain name is also found to the left of the lab instruction listing lab CloudFront distribution DNS. Okay. Paste the distribution domain value copied into a new browser tab. Okay. So distribution domain name here is there. Okay. So here we have it. A simple web page is loaded displaying the information of the web server from which CloudFront retrieved the content. By requesting content from this value for the CloudFront distribution, you are verifying. Okay, so we have basically verified that our existing cache is working and we can close this tab. So return to the CloudFront console. So here I will click on this. I will return to the CloudFront console and I will choose the security tab. So, okay, so here we have list the security tab and choose the origins. Choose the security tab. So here we have the distribution that you need your keep your application secure to the most common web threats using AWS WAF, which is the web application firewall, or need to prevent users in specific countries for accessing your content using geographic restrictions. Okay. So here we have it. So here we can basically configure our web application firewall from here. And as you can see now, it is currently disabled. Okay. So only origin currently on the distribution is an ELB load balancer. This load balancer is accepting and directing web traffic for the auto scaling web service in its target group. Okay. So now we'll copy it, copy the load balancer's domain name DNS value. Okay. Look for this origin from the column labeled origin domain. Okay. So, okay, here is it. And we'll basically copy the origin domain. Here we have it. Okay. So here we'll paste this. Now new browser tab. Okay. Now it is opened. So as you can see, okay, okay. Now we pasted the DNS for this value for this would also come. Okay, so here we have done it, and we can close this tab. Now return to the CloudFront console and choose the behaviors tab. So let's go on to the behaviors tab, and behaviors define the actions that the CloudFront distribution takes when there is a request for content, such as which origin to serve which content type to live of content in the cache, cookies, and how to handle various headers. This tab contains a list of current behaviors defined for the distribution. Okay, you are You configure new or existing behaviors here. Behaviors for the distribution are evaluated in explicit order and we should define them on this tab. Okay, got it. So here is our default with G behavior, which is 1 right now because we have not configured more. And it is saying you can configure new or existing behaviors here. Okay. Hide the configuration of any single behavior. Select the radio button. Okay. In the row and choose edit. Okay. Okay, so basically we can basically see all the behaviors, what we want to do and what not. Compare objects automatically, no or yes. Protocol policy, viewer protocol policy, HTTP, HTTPS, and whether we want to redirect HTTP to HTTPS, basically forcing it, or what HTTP methods we want to allow, and more. Basically, it doesn't end. So now let's move to the error pages tab. So let's explore that also. So here we go. This is our error pages tab. So basically for the errors. And we have the invalidations tab. Okay, no invalidations and tags and the logging tab basically. So yes, we have explored the CloudFront distribution. So now what we are going to do is basically create an S3 bucket. So in this task, we have to create an S3 bucket. So at the top of the console, I will be searching the S3 and basically I will start this and I'll go to the S3 bucket. And now in the bucket section, I will choose create bucket. Yes, here it is. I'll create bucket and the create bucket. Okay, so I will basically ignore this because I have the create bucket option and the create bucket page is displayed. Now copy the lab bucket name from the left of the lab instructions. Okay, so here we have the lab bucket name. Okay, here we have it and we have pasted that. Now the AWS region should match the primary region value to the left of these lab instructions. And for the setting on the default configuration, now we'll create the bucket. Now our S3 bucket will be created. So Amazon S3 console is displayed. Okay, so the newly created bucket is now displayed. So we have it now. This is the lab bucket which we were creating, and this is it. We have created it. Now configure the S3 lab bucket for public access. Now what we have to do is I have opened this lab bucket, and in this task we review the default access setting for S3 buckets. Next, you modify the permission settings to allow public access to the bucket. Okay, so now what I will do is select the link for the newly created lab bucket and found in the bucket section. Okay, I will already done that. Choose the permissions tab. Okay, now locate the block public access bucket settings. Yes, we have it, and it is by default on, and we have to unselect it. Okay, so we basically want to allow the public access here, and I will click on the confirm. Yes, I've done it. Now in the message field, enter confirm and choose confirm. Okay, I've already done that. Now I have removed the restrictions on all the public block. Basically, we will remove the block on all public access policies for the lab bucket. You are now able to create policies for the bucket that allow for public access. Okay. So now we have to configure a public read policy for the lab bucket. Now, after opening it, we have the permissions. Look at the bucket policy section. No policy to display right now. So what we will do, basically, we will copy and paste the bucket ARN value into text editor to save the information. Okay. So I will copy the bucket ARN value, which I will find it here. So here is our bucket ARN value. So I will write it here. This is our bucket ARN value. Here we have it, and I have copied it. Okay, so bucket policy section and above the policy box. So I have the bucket ARN value, so no problem in that. ARN uniquely identifies this as local. Okay, so we will require this specific ARN when creating bucket-based policies. So now what we have to do, we have to paste this JSON into a text editor. So let me do that. I pasted it, and I have to replace the resource ARN in the okay. So with the bucket ARN, although I can do that directly also, I think. So let me just edit this, and here we are. So I will replace the resource ARN with the bucket ARN. Okay, so here I think it would be not that efficient. So I will place this here. Okay, so I pasted that here and I'll copy the preview and append. Okay, so we have to append it there. Otherwise, it may cause some error. So yeah, I've appended it there. So yeah, it has shown it also. We have also done that. Now, okay, return to the Amazon S3 console. Save the complete into policy box, save changes. So we will save changes directly here. And if successfully edited bucket policy. Bucket policy has been edited. We have, so if you receive an error message, so we have not received any error message at the bottom and it has been successfully created. So now let's jump to our task 4. So what is it? Upload an object into the bucket and testing public access. Okay. So now let's choose the objects tab, create folder. Okay. I'll create folder and enter cached objects into the folder name field. Okay. I pasted it and leave all the other setting on the parent default values. Okay. I will just create the folder. Now upload an object to the bucket. Download the object for these lab instructions by choosing logo.png and saving it to a local device. Okay. Okay, so I have downloaded this logo to my local device. I will just close this tab and I will return to the S3 console and I have this cached objects bucket and basically the folder. Now I'll click on upload and for uploading I have to basically drag and drop it. So this is our logo. I will drag and drop it here. Also, yeah, here you can see the logo is there and you have to click on upload here. So it will upload. I'll upload succeeded and now I'll close this. Now our upload has been already been succeeded. Now test public access to an object. Choose the logo.png link. Okay, so here is our logo.png and this is our object URL. So what I will basically do, I will try to open it from public access and yeah, I can basically open this. So our basically our public access is working in our S3 bucket and the policy has been configured correctly. So link. Okay, so basically we have done that. So task 4 is completed. Now secure the bucket with Amazon CloudFront and Origin Access Control. Okay, so now jumping on to the 57th step at the top of the console in the search bar, search one choose S3. Okay, and we are already in our lab bucket. Here we are. So we do not have to do the all the basically steps again and again. And page below the bucket list. Now choose the permissions tab. Okay, here we have it. And look at the bucket policy section which just now we configured and choose edit. Okay, so I'm going to edit this. Copy and paste the bucket ARN value into text. Okay, so I have it. I have the ARN value. The ARN value uniquely identifies. I already know that. And okay, so now I have to paste this policy right now. So I will erase this old policy for now and paste this new one. And I will paste the resource ARN here. Hey, 1 second. Let me confirm. And with the bucket ARN. Yeah, I'm doing it right. So I have the bucket ARN here and replace the and okay, so I have to append it again. So it starts like looking like this. Okay, so I will append it. No issue in that and CloudFront distribution ARN. So I have both the ARNs, no issues in that. So this is my CloudFront ARN and now let's do it. So here are CloudFront distribution ARN. And yeah, our policy is ready to be attached. Now I'll update this policy and I will basically paste it there. And what I will do here is paste, I already pasted, so I will save the changes here. Enable the public access blockers. Okay. So now I'll go to the permissions tab. I'm already there. Look at the block public access. Choose edit and now I will enable it. Yes. And I'll save the changes. So I have to type confirm here. Sorry. That's it. Here it is. So successfully edited. Okay, so I have this message here as shown here in the instructions. It is displayed on the top of the screen. A page with all the bucket details is displayed. Okay. Yes. Okay. So now let's jump on to the task 5.3. And so again, we have to open this CloudFront. So I will click here. From the CloudFront distributions page, choose the ID link for the only available distribution. I have chosen it. A page showing the details of the distribution, choose the origins tab. Now we have to create an origin. From the origin domain field, choose the name of a lab bucket from the Amazon S3 section. Okay, we have this our lab bucket. And leave the entry for origin path optional empty. Okay, so I will keep it empty. For name, I will enter this. For origin, select origin access control settings. Yes. And create a new OAC. Okay. Okay. So I have to now take from create origin. Successfully created origin, my Amazon S3 origin. Okay. You can. Okay. Now let's proceed to task 5.4. Now we have to create a new behavior for our Amazon S3 origin. So now I will choose the behaviors tab here and choose create behavior. In the create behavior page, in the path pattern field, I have to enter this. So yes, I entered it. It is from the origin and origin groups drop down menu. Uh, choose my Amazon S3 origin. I have it here. And from the cache key and origin request section, ensure cache policy and origin request policy. Okay. So it is by default, it is selected there. And from the cache policy dropdown, ensure caching optimized is selected. Yes, it is there. And leave all the other settings at default and choose create behavior. Yes, so I will create, and here we should have the successful message. And yes, we have the message here. So we can create by this. Now coming on to the task 6. Now we will test direct access to a file in the bucket using the Amazon S3 wallet. So what we are going to do is open our S3 page and select the link for the lab bucket found in the lab bucket section. Okay, so here is it. And choose the objects tab. Here we have it, cached objects and logo.png. Okay, so here we have it. Select the link located. Okay, so now we will test the URL. Okay, does not have any. Okay, so we have a access denied message here, which basically indicates that the access is not here, and it says you have confirmed that the object is no longer accessible from the Amazon S3 URL, as we can see here. Okay, so this task is completed. Now coming on to the task 7, which says test access to the object in the bucket using the CloudFront distribution. So what you have to do is copy the CloudFront distribution domain DNS value to the left side of the lab instruction. Okay, so we have the lab CloudFront distribution DNS, which I will copy. I have copied it here, so I will keep it here in my notepad, and I will also keep like basically what is this. So as to not forget what I have basically pasted it. Now paste it into a new browser tab. Okay. Okay. So here is our page, and a simple web page is loaded displaying the information of the web server where CloudFront retrieves the content from. Okay. Append cached objects logo.png to the end of the domain DNS and press enter. Okay. So yes, here we have it. The browser makes a request to an object is returned from the Amazon S3 origin. Is returned from a CloudFront request. Okay, so here is it. And basically, these tasks are optional. So we can basically do this for more knowledge. And by the way, all our tasks have been completed. So Now let's see what it basically shows. So it shows replicate an S3 bucket across AWS regions. So it will basically instruct you to uh, set up the bucket across many AWS regions and replicate it. So the steps would be the same for that, and you have to basically verify the replication and all of these things. So yes, so now coming to the conclusion, we have created an S3 bucket with default security settings, configured an S3 bucket for public access, added an S3 bucket as a new origin to an existing CloudFront distribution, and secured an S3 bucket to allow access only through the CloudFront distribution. Configured OAC to lock down security to an S3 bucket, and configured Amazon S3 resource policies for public or OAC access. So now let's end the lab and return to the AWS Management Console, and at the upper right corner of the page, choose AWS Labs user and sign out. Okay, so I signed out here, and choose end lab and confirm to end your lab. Okay, so we will end our lab here, and that's it for today, guys.